Oh my god, bro.
Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck?
Adam Warlock, aka the Golden God, aka the Perfect Human, aka the Flightless Wonder. Because after looking at these movie scenes, why the hell do you have a cape? I'm just saying, Doctor Strange, Thor, and Moon Knight have capes and they can fly. Hell, even Loki can at least turn into someone that can fly. Adam Warlock is one of those supports where your team sees him and they immediately ask you to swap off of him before the match even starts. As someone that's a GM3 to Diamond 1 player, depending on if I have the A team or the Roblox kids are on that day, I gotta say, Adam Warlock is a ton of fun to use, but he has a lot of flaws in his kit. But he does have some strengths going for him, obviously. Let's look at his kit, stats, and playstyle and answer the question, why would you use Adam Warlock? Adam Warlock is a strategist with the lowest pick rate amongst all supports at 3% pick rate across all ranks. His job is to help his team make plays, which he has a couple of ways to do this. He has 2 ways to deal damage. He can charge up a volley of projectiles, or he can shoot them off semi-automatically. Imagine a certain robot monk from Overwatch, basically. There's a tech to fire faster by alternating these shots. A bad Adam Warlock will make you feel like you were hit by, the wind, like the tickle monster, Black Panther things. Or a good Adam make you feel like you got goddamn isekai. His only form of healing is the Avatar live stream. It's a burst heal that bounces between people. Here's the issue with it. Adam only heals himself for 35 when he activates it, and that's like his only form of self-healing. Now, what he can do is look away and get a full heal off of it, but then it's kind of like you're wasting it in a way. And that's virtually his only form of healing. The problem is, this is on a 6-second cooldown, and it only has 2 charges. This means if you get dosed, you might need to use both of these on yourself to survive, and now your team will be running on no heals, because let's be real, you're probably the only healer considering the 4 DPS going negative on your team that refuse to switch. You hate this shit. His second ability is Soul Bond, and this is legitimately a broken ability, I won't even lie. So what Soul Bond does is Adam links himself up to 5 teammates near him. When he casts it, once you're bonded, you all split damage between each other for 6 seconds and heal 15 HP per second. If Adam Warlock would die during the Soul Bond, he'll live on 1 HP and Soul Bond ends. This is such a busted ability since it's a huge counter to burst damage and DPS ults such as Moon Knight, Punisher, and Hela. Ults, for example. The only downside is that it has a long 30-second cooldown, but it's basically a support ultimate on cooldown, so it deserves that downside. Adam Warlock's ultimate is Karmic Revival.
Born again!
Adam casts the ultimate, then for the next 10 seconds, if anyone dies, or he approaches any of his dead teammates in the 30-meter radius, they get revived where he casts the ultimate with 100 HP. His passive is Regenerative Cocoon. When Adam dies, he turns into a spirit and has 15 seconds to go off somewhere and revive himself. This passive is the only way Adam will be flying. Because he can only fly in death. And he can't even do that right. This passive has a huge 105-second cooldown. Adam's team up gives his passive to Star-Lord and Mantis. While this team up is strong because it allows all 3 of them to be more reckless, well, as reckless as a golden man wearing Rocket League's leg weights can be, considering the lack of mobility here. The problem now is that Mantis and Adam is a terrible support setup. Both are low healing strategists that rely on resources such as cooldowns and orbs which can run out. There can be long downtimes between heals with this team up, or this team comp, so the passive isn't worth the risk. The only member that benefits off of this is Star-Lord, and he has no issue surviving on his own with his invincible blinks and his flight. So let's go over the pros and cons for Adam Warlock. He's a high damage strategist, he has really high burst healing for himself or his team, and potentially the strongest support ability in the game with Soul Link. As for his cons, he's a slow character with 0 mobility, his healing is limited to 1 ability which runs out quickly, his Soul Bond has a long cooldown, his ultimate is flawed in a ton of ways. It has, from what I know, the highest ult cost in the game at 5,000, which is crazy for its weaknesses. It requires Adam to leave the fight in advance since he has no mobility to place the ultimate in a safe spot. Then once he uses it, he has to approach the teammates that died, and they only return with 100 HP so they can easily be killed again. Combined with his lack of mobility and long wind-up time on his ultimate, Warlock ultimate is probably the worst ultimates among the strategists. I find myself holding it for nothing besides overtime, or if we start losing a fight we already should have won, just a confirmed win. Oh yeah, and I guess his passive. His passive is just tragic. How can Adam Warlock be saved? Well, first off, calling yourself the perfect human while being named Warlock is gonna have the big man upstairs really pissed off at you. First thing they need to change though is his passive. Adam already has no way to defend himself. Every strategist has a way of defending themselves though, usually via mobility or CC. Luna has her freeze, Jeff has his swim, Sue has her push and double jump plus her invisibility. Even Mantis, the closest strategist to Adam, deals more damage, has a speed boost up while her health is full, is constantly healing herself, and has a sleep while also having one of the best ultimates in the game. Without changing the ability identity, maybe Adam can move faster or through walls while in his spirit form. If not that, then when he respawns, he pushes all enemies back or stuns them in a small AoE for 1 second. Something small enough to make the passive a bit better. His team up should get this effect as well. Next, let's give Adam a flying ability. Allow him to have an Iron Man sort of thruster sort of flight, even if it's only for 5 seconds and it has a long cooldown. It would definitely give him some needed survivability. The biggest change would be to his ultimate, because why would you go about reviving somebody when you can just make them effectively immortal using Luna Snow or a dagger ult? Remember, we're trying to keep the identity of the character and the abilities with these changes. So the first thing I would change is the revive amount. All characters that are revived by Adam should come back with 50% of their HP. This wouldn't change much for strategists or DPS players, but tanks coming back could immediately hop back into a fight. Next, when you're revived, you get a small boost to healing, like 10% more healing for 5 seconds. The last change I would make is if you're dead, the moment he activates the ultimate, it revives you from anywhere on the map. So you can decide to spot revive a tank that dies if necessary, or try to come back from a bad play. Or even if you just respawn, you can pop ult and skip your team's respawn timer basically. I would not touch his ult cost since his potential is too strong. We don't need him trying to be any more closer to Jesus by raising the dead that much more often. Seriously though, look at him. He's the perfect human. He can raise the dead, has skin of brass. They knew blasphemous statements. They knew the blasphemous statement they would make by putting Warlock in his name. The Christians are gonna be angry, bruh. But that's the end of the video. Make sweet tender love to the like button and put a baby in that sub button if this video was good to you, or if you at least enjoyed yourself. I plan on doing more of this series, especially if this one gets enough love, but that's gonna be it for me though. Let me know what character you think I should cover next in the comments. Have a great day or night. This is True King's Den, and out to steal Reed's wife. Damn shit, daddy.